USA E2 treaty investor visa doesn't have a minimum threshold of the investments. So it doesn't mean that there is a consultant or an IT expert or a web designer who can just pick up the laptop and come and establish their firm in the USA and spending some few $1,000s, and then he should be qualified for a E2 visa. There is a lot more than that, which I'm going to explain and break it to you in this whole video. Hi, my name is Rahil Sheikh and I'm a business consultant and investment migration expert based in the USA. In my firm, Startup Business Bureau, we provide consulting and management services to the foreign investors and entrepreneurs who wanted to establish their businesses in the US, and at the same time they want to qualify for an E2 treaty investor visa. Lately, in our firm, we have been receiving a lot of inquiries and concerns from the consultants, from the clients, which belongs to the services industries, different kind of services industries like an IT company or a web development company or SaaS programs or the startup companies. At the same time, the social media management companies as well. Just because the US E2 treaty investor visa doesn't have a minimum threshold of an investment which you need to put into the business, and it can be at any amount of money which you can invest in the business. And so they believe like it's a, for example, if it is a consulting or a coaching business where you don't really need any kind of an heavy equipment or an heavy investments, so you just probably need a laptop, a good internet and a mobile phone, and you're good to go. So they start thinking like you can just come to the US, bring your laptop and spend some dollars, register your company, and then you are good to go. You don't need an office, you don't need you can work remotely from your home or from any place. So the point is, yes, for the business, it definitely can work out for you if that's your business model, that's your individual perspective. But remember, that's not the case where the immigration, the USCIS or the US embassies, US consulates, they would not consider this as a qualified application. Even if you spend like $4,000, $5,000, $10,000 or $20,000 in setting up your business, it doesn't qualify for an investor visa. There are different reasons for that. Let me just explain you the whole background in this whole process. The first thing is, we need to understand what is an E2 treaty investor visa. The word itself says it's an investor visa. Investor visa basically means you need to put a substantial amount of investment into a business which is not marginal and which has a potential to grow over the time. There is no minimum job requirements or a minimum hirings which you require to do for the business visa application qualification, but eventually the USCIS expects you to hire some employees in the future, because that's how you evaluate the business growth, irrespective of whatever if it is a brick and mortar model or if it is a service industries on an online platform or a SaaS softwares or a new startup companies. Irrespective of them, the USCIS still expect you to hire some of the employees so that you can contribute to the economy. And that's exactly the whole purpose of this visa. Basically, it's an investor visa where the US government expects you to invest some dollars, some good amount of dollars. They don't bound you like an EB-5 program where you have to, a minimum amount of like $0.9 million, $900,000 you need to invest. They don't block you in that investment dollars, but they will be evaluating your business. That means you cannot register in some couple of hundreds or $1,000s and bring a laptop and put some 2-3 table in your office or in your garage or in a room in your house, and you start qualifying yourself as an investor visa. Because that's exactly not the amount of investments which the USCIS expects you to pump into the US economy, which can contribute to the economy and which can lead you towards a successful future of your business, and at the same time contribute towards the job market over here. So it doesn't mean by saying this, I don't want to scare you off that as a consultant or an IT expert you don't qualify for an E2 visa, because naturally for an IT company, what do you need? You just need a laptop to work on. You just need a good internet connections. So how does that qualify? How do the IT companies or a consulting or a coaching businesses can still meet the substantial investment clause while they don't need it for a business? So I'm just going to explain you the whole overview, give you the overview of the whole process and what kind of a different mode of investments you can make where you can still qualify for an E2 visa. So, starting from the E2 visa, let's understand what is the requirement. How does the USCIS evaluate your application? We need to understand the whole essence of this visa application program. This visa, E2 visa, is purely the essence of the visa is your business and your business model. That's the reason the government doesn't dictate you that how much should be the minimum investment and with what kind of a business you wanna set up. They don't want to limit it. For example, if I am not an expert in an IT company or I'm not an IT guy, they don't want to limit me towards making an investment in an IT company because eventually that's not going to work out. Or at the same time, vice versa, if I'm an IT guy and somebody gives me a brick and mortar model or a retail outlet, I'm not going to work it out because that's not what I am. So that will collapse the whole business program. So they have the government, the US government has given us the opportunity to decide our own business model as per our niche. For one sec, forget the E2. Consider on the business model. What is your objective? Are you a coach which you're just trying to be a solopreneur on your own and you want to continue doing that for the rest of your life? If that is the case, you don't need to reside into the US, or that you can consult a coach from any part of the world. Today is the modern world and you can just do it online. The same goes with an IT company. If an IT company who is going to do the social media marketing services and at the same time web development services, why does that company needs to be based in the US? Practically, if that's what you want to do, you can do it remotely, you can do it sitting anywhere else in the world. And why do you want to come here? As long as until you don't have a plan to grow your business over the period of time. If that's the business model which you have, where you want to grow, you want to establish, and grow means a serious growth, not just like, of course, I want to become a Google, for example, or I want to become a Facebook. A serious, legitimate plan on your growth. Where do you want to see yourself? What do you want to do? And if that's the case, irrespective of even if you are a consultant or a coach or an IT expert or any other service providing company, you eventually need a whole plan. Now, the plan means that in terms of the investments, maybe in the beginning, if I'm planning to start on my own, I don't need a big investment. But since I'm engaging my whole business plan with an immigration process, so we need to follow the immigration rules and we need to make them satisfied that yes, we have a growth strategy on our board which we are going to follow down the line. Now, what is that growth strategy? Let's break it out in terms of, for example, the numbers or the percentage of the investment amount. Let's say if you are planning for an IT company or a service providing company. So first thing is, you can't do it. You can't operate it from your garage or from your house or from your friend's place. So you need to have an office setup, right? So in terms of the office setups, you can probably find a nice place for an office and make a 1 year lease or a 2 years lease and pay whole rent up front. Normally, as a rent, the lease amounts, if it is a month-to-month recurring expenses, that doesn't count as a capital investment of the E2 because that's your operational expenses in nature. But if you're going to make an upfront payment, so that becomes your initial capital investment for a startup company because that's what you have actually invested the money for. And that will show a serious amount of investments done from your side and how that will show your seriousness towards your business model as well. Okay, so this is the first step. So you're going to put down the money in terms of the lease lock period for 12 months or 2 years or probably even 3 years. Who cares? Whatever you can do at max. So that's the first thing. Second, you want to do the idea testation, right? You don't want to come up with one, for example, a web development company. There are hundreds and thousands of web development companies based in the US. US is, in fact, the hub of technology. So you need to make sure that what particular niche are you going to target when you say that you have a social media marketing company or a web development company or consulting or IT or expert or coach or whatever. There is no shortage of them here in the local market. So you need to do your market research first, right? So you need to do your idea testation and validation that whatever the services and capabilities you owe, that is which is required in this market. So you might need to do a market research, and that research with your idea validation. If you are starting up a new company and bringing up with some new product as a SaaS product, software as a service, or any kind of other tech-based startup companies or service-based companies, you probably need to do the idea validation. So that idea validation fees, the company, the market research companies which you hire, so that all goes under your capital investment. And then once the idea is tested, so that will even support your application as well, because you have a valid testified idea, and you have a whole market research report attached to the business program that this is what you have. After that, now the market is tested, market research is completed, idea has been validated, everything is done. Now probably you need a whole business plan. Not probably, for E2 you mandatory, you need to have a whole business plan. So you hire a consultant to do all that consulting services and give you all the briefings and creating of your profile and validating your ideas and all that stuff. You pay a consultation fees, you pay an attorney fees, you pay the government fees, you pay the lease amount, and then you do the market research fees. All these fees is a part of your capital investment. So you must need to consider all of these expenses as your capital expenses. Now, once this all is completed, you probably need, since it's a serious business and you plan to grow over the period of time, you probably need some of the equipments. Maybe you individually, I don't need more laptops, for example, but once in the 2 months down the line, if I need to hire another employee, I probably need to give him another laptop, a good piece of laptop with the printer, software, or any kind of an equipment which I need to provide to continue my services. So that all equipments will be part of your initial capital investments if you purchase them. So which means, hypothetically, I don't need to have that big amount of capital, but still, to make the business legitimate and to fulfill the requirements that you have actually invested the substantial amount of investments into the business, we need to do all these basic steps, and we need to make sure, because this is the money which you are investing today, and that's the money which becomes at risk when in case of a visa denial. Because that's, again, you remember, money at risk, the investment you invested at risk is one of the requirements of USCIS. You can't just put the dollars park in your bank account and then you cannot say like, okay, this is I have made a business investment, because that money is literally not at risk. That's your money at your disposal, available in your bank or a business bank account. So you are not losing anything. So you need to make sure that these all investments are done. And along with that, most of the times we personally recommend to these companies that at least you need to make sure that whatever the business model you are preparing, that you do a complete competitor analysis, and you start with that competitor analysis, identify your pricing structures, your marketing requirements, and all that stuff. You can put down the business launching budget, the marketing and advertising budget, because you are going to beat a big competitor market, existing competitor market. So you might need a big budget of securing your first clients or first couple of clients in the beginning, and you need to invest a lot of marketing dollars into your business. So that marketing and advertising campaigns, all of the money, you can hire if you are a consultant firm, so maybe you need to hire an IT company. But if you yourself are an IT company, you still need to do the marketing, you still need to do the ad campaigns, still need to do the Google analysis, SEO analysis, and all that other kind of stuff. So if that's not under your particular scope of services, then you can add that money, you can engage that companies, you can hire them and probably pay them a 6 months or a 1 year their management fees of their ad campaigns. You can probably pay them in advance, and that again becomes your capital investment. One more source of the capital investment where you can increase the whole investment amount, and you can ensure to the government or the official authorities that you are serious about the business. There are two more criteria. You can probably, because eventually once you are here, once you have spent all that money, you need people to to be recruited. You need people to join you in your business once your business starts flourishing, which means you need a recruitment company. So you can probably do the contract with the headhunters, recruitment companies, or different kind of HR sites where you can probably pay their subscription fees, for example, or you can pay their recruitment fees for a 6 months or a 1 year contract. Again, pay them all money in advance, and that again is counted towards your investment amount, because eventually whenever you need to hire the people, you need a recruiting agency, you need to have a recruitment firm on board. So you can add that recruitment firm now and pay them all the 6 months money in advance. At the same time, the last thing which you can add up into your into whole capital investment breakup is your launching budget. It can be a launching event. If it is a consulting, it can be a launching seminar. It can be any kind of a promotional campaigns. In fact, seminars are awesome. You can spend a good amount of money in that seminars as a launching seminar, and then you can you put your dollars, you book your venue, and hire an events management company and all that stuff, and you pay them a good money, and you add that into your marketing dollars. So these are the things which you must consider, the equipments, the contracts, the prepaid contracts, advanced contracts, they are all into your part of your investment. One more thing probably you would like to consider, if your business matches that requirement, and if there is a requirement to hire an office car, that also is a good part of investment amount. So you probably need to hire to purchase a car, or even lease a car and pay the whole lease advance to the leasing company or a rent-a-car company, and that car you can use it for your business on your client meetings or presentations or conferences or wherever you want to go with. So that can also be added up into your capital. So these are all the different expenses which you must consider. So eventually, now you see, I mean, where we started it from. Like if you put a $5,000 or a $10,000 or a $20,000 in your pocket, and you says like your business doesn't require money, and then you can still qualify for it. It doesn't work like this, because eventually whenever the business goes into a formal business model, these all expenses which I just explained to you, these all has to be done, and without these operating expenses, the business cannot run as a successful business model. So that's exactly the reason why the USCIS will never consider application of a visa, of a E2 visa, just because you have established a firm and you have a laptop. So make sure that you still have sufficient money, sufficient amount of investments, and then that's how you should continue for your visa application. If you still have some other concerns or questions, or you want to establish the whole setup in the US as a startup company, we are here. We are happy to answer you. We are happy to address and take care of your all the concerns and matters. All of our contact details would be there in the description of this video. Feel free to reach out to us, and we would be happy to serve you all. Thank you. Good day.